Hey, everybody. Welcome to Midpoint. It is great to be with you tonight. Trust all is well in your neck of the woods. So, check this out. My grandson, Brantley, some of you may know him, some of you may not, but he's our 3-year-old grandson. He loves to come over to Nana and Grampy's house. And of course, as you can well imagine, that we really love it when he's able to come over as well. So, well, the last few weeks, first of all, Jill hadn't been feeling well. And so she started to feel better, but then Brantley started not feeling well. And so I guess maybe like there was a couple weeks anyways. Bottom line is he hadn't been able to come over. So finally, everybody's feeling better. He's able to come over. So Kelly had a photo shoot that she was going to do. So we was going to watch Brantley. So she brought him over, dropped him off. And so as she's walking out the door to go to her photo shoot, she said to Jill, she said, well, listen, he may need to go to the bathroom pretty soon. So Kelly took off. So Jill said, okay, let's go potty. So off they went, running down the hall. It's this big thing. I'm going to beat you. And they got this big thing that they do. Anyways, so after they get their business done, everything's all squared away. Brantley turns to Jill. He puts his hand on her face and he says, Nana, I missed you. Well, can I just say that Jill came out walking down the hallway about a foot taller. And she's telling me with tears in her eyes and her face is red. I mean, listen, in that moment, that boy could have got anything that he wanted. Trust me. But check this out. While we deeply love that boy, and we know that he deeply loves us, for him at 3 to stop his entire world, because his normal thing is he'll come out 100 miles an hour, grab his toys, and get right back after it. But for him to stop his entire world, look her square in the eye with his hands on her face, and that means a lot to Jill. That touch is big time with her. And nobody told him that. He just instinctively did it. And to tell her, Nana, I miss you. Trust me when I say that made a big impression on her that she'll never forget her entire life. Listen, that simple gesture of this, of Brantley, of this little boy saying to her, I miss you, changed her world. And that's not an understatement. Not an understatement at all. I don't know if you ever heard this or not, but there's this joke that goes around every so often. It makes the circuit. Let's put it this way. And it's about a wife who asked her husband, he says, how come you never tell me that you love me? And so the old boy turns and looks at her and he says, listen, I told you I loved you when I married you. And if anything changes, I'll let you know. So while we laugh and it's kind of a joke, the reality of it is, while that may be a funny joke, it's kind of hard to deal with in life, because here's the deal. Even the hardest of people, even the most closed off people in the world need to hear every so often that they're on somebody's radar, that somebody's thinking about them. They're maybe praying for them, or they miss them, whatever the case. Even those tough nuts to crack, let's put it that way, when they know somebody is thinking about them, it makes a difference. You know, we can get so tangled up with life sometimes that we're doing life, but we forget to enjoy life. You know what I'm talking about? Not only that, but we get so busy, we can sometimes even take for granted, not necessarily appreciate those who are around us. And it's not intentional. It's not, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying that sometimes we can get that way. Those people who are around us, who are making our life better, and we know that they are, but we just get so busy. So what happens is we don't stop. We don't take the time to just tell them, you know what? Because you're here, my life is better. And you know what? And when you're not, I do. I miss you. I miss you being around. I appreciate you. This past Sunday, we've been going through the Ten Commandments. And so we come to the fifth commandment, which is honor your father and mother. And so the Lord really directed me with this honor thing, and not just towards the father and the mother, but just honor in general in our family and so on. And honor is it's really simple. We don't have to complicate it, so there's no sense to it. It's just caring for people. It's respecting people. You know what I'm talking about? I think you'd agree with me that our world, that down to our nation, our community, even in our own home, in our own family, would benefit from just a little more honor, a little more care, maybe a little bit more respect. Yeah, I told you I loved you. If anything changes, I'll let you know. I mean, I get it. It's funny. It's a joke. And we understand that. But sometimes that stopping and that reaching out and showing that care and respect really makes a difference for somebody. There's a scripture in the Bible that says this: give honor to whom honor is due. More than likely, I'm sure that tomorrow, when you go to work, you go to the grocery store, wherever you happen to go, you're going to come across someone who would deeply benefit from you stopping everything that you're doing and honor them in some way. Even if, listen, it is amazing to me at how many times I'll approach the door and there'll be someone else, especially a woman, especially an elderly woman. And I'll say, you go ahead. Oh no. And they're just so used to not being honored that way that it catches them by surprise. When something that I was taught as a young boy to just automatically do, we've gotten so far away from some of this stuff, and so it kind of catches them by surprise. And you know what happens? Every time they smile and they say thank you very much, and they walk in just a little bit taller. When Jill walked down the hallway and told me she was walking taller, it changed things for her. You know what? You're going to come across somebody tomorrow, maybe the next day, that you can change their life by honoring them. Listen, as a matter of fact, I bet there might be somebody that's close to you right now that if you just stopped and you took a second, I mean, I'm talking you stopped everything. You know, normally you have your routine, so on, so on, so on. It would make a big difference in their life if right now you stopped and you just honored them. You know, it might just change their world. It might just give them the boost that they need to get through something that maybe they haven't even shared with you about. Maybe it's something that's personal, something that's private, so they haven't shared with you. But by you stopping and caring for them, respecting them, giving them some honor, it'll give them exactly what they need to keep pushing through to make it another day. Listen, don't miss your opportunity to honor those around you. Don't hesitate, because your head might be telling you, well, how are they going to react? Or how about this one? They're going to think I'm weird. Or what about, all right, let's take it a little deeper. How about this one? Well, if I do that, then it's going to make me vulnerable. I don't like to be vulnerable, for whatever reason that is. Listen, Brantley didn't hesitate in 1 minute. He took his place, he looked her square in the eye, and he honored his Nana. Right? So all the baggage, time to set it aside. All the excuses, it's time to put them to the back of your head and honor someone this week. Quite possibly, you could literally change their world. Listen, if you like what you've heard, share it with somebody, would you? Better yet, I say this every time, but honor somebody by taking a little bit of time out of your schedule and hooking up with them this week, meeting them and say, look, I think you would enjoy this midpoint that I saw. I think that you would really like that, and I want to spend a little bit of time with you, and encourage them. Let them know that they're on your radar, that you care enough to shut everything down and just honor them. Trust me, it'll make a huge impact in their lives. They'll never be the same. I believe it with all my heart. God bless you. Listen, we'll see you guys next time right here on Midpoint.